And I'd like to call the meeting of the Parish Council of Tuesday, February 27th, 2024 to order. We'll have the invocation and pledge of allegiance by Councilman Kevin Champagne. Hit your light, Kevin.
All right. Dear Lord, we are meeting today to conduct matters of business, guide our hearts and minds in the spirit of fairness, right, thought and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon actions so that decisions may reach a successful conclusion. Thank you for being our source of guidance today. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Alicia, may we have a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. Amity?
Here.
Mr. Champagne?
Here.
Mr. Hamner?
Here.
Mr. Babin? Ms. Chauvin? Mr. Trustclair? Here. Mr. Pleasure? Mr. Harding?
Here.
Ms. Boyzan? Mr. Boyzan? Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum present.
Thank you, Ms. Alicia. I just have an email from Ms. Chauvin. She won't be able to attend this evening's meetings because she had a meeting in her community to discuss the Boudreaux Canal Bridge with DOTD, and if anybody knows, don't reschedule DOTD. It could go into next year. She wanted the email read so that it could be entered into the record. If staff would just enter that into the record for me, please. Approve the minutes of the regular council session held on January 24th, 2024. Moved by Mr. Harding, second by Mr. Babin. Members, vote your machines. Eight yeas, 0 nays, motion carries. Approve the minutes of the special session condemnation minutes of the condemnation meeting held on February 6, 2024. Moved by Mr. Harding.
Second.
Second by Mr. Champagne. Members, vote your machines. Danny, you and Kevin sound alike. Twins. 8 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries. Distribute the minutes of the regular council session held on February 7th, 2024. That's been done. Approve accounts payable bill list for 2020-24 and 2026-2024. Moved by Mr. Babin. Second by Mr. Boyzan. Members, vote your machines. Eight yeas, 0 nays, motion carries. Approve manual checklist for January 2024. Move Mr. Harding. Second Mr. Boyzan. Members, vote your machines. 8 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries. Item 1 of general business, A, proclamation proclaiming March 2024 as Problem Gambling Awareness Month in Terrebonne Parish. Mr. Clyde Hamner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Switch on your mic, please. There you go.
It says City of Houma, Louisiana, Parish of Terrebonne, proclamation. Whereas problem gambling is a public health concern affecting millions of Americans of all ages, races, and ethnic backgrounds in all communities, causing a significant societal and economic cost. And whereas promoting awareness provides individuals in the problem gambling community an opportunity to educate the public and policymakers about the social and financial effectiveness of services available for problem gambling. And whereas problem gambling is a treatable and treatment is effective in minimizing the harm to both individuals and society as a whole. And whereas the state offers a myriad of services aimed at treating problem gambling, including educational prevention programs, residential treatment, outpatient counseling, and aftercare programs throughout the state, a toll-free Louisiana problem Gamblers Helpline, 1-877-770-STOP, that answers calls from people seeking help with gambling problems, and a website aimed at the prevention of problem gambling, www.helpforgambling.org. And whereas Louisiana was one of the first states to have numerous state-funded programs such as the Residential Treatment Facility Center of Recovery Corps in Shreveport for problem gamblers, and whereas numerous organizations such as the Louisiana Association on Compulsive Gambling, the Louisiana Lottery, the Louisiana Casino Association, the Louisiana Gambling Industry, the Office of Attorney General, the State Police Gaming Division, and the Gaming Control Board all work together with the Louisiana Department of Health and all statewide districts to address problem gambling. And whereas numerous individuals, professionals, and organizations have decided their efforts to the education of the public about problem gambling, prevention about problem gambling, along with availability and effectiveness of treatment services, now therefore it be resolved by the Terrebonne Parish Council on behalf of the parish president and the entire Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government that the month of March 2024 be hereby proclaimed as Problem Gambling Awareness Month, and that all citizens be encouraged to help spread the message that there is help for problem gamblers through treatment and to support those who are in treatment and recovery and their families. Presented this 27th day of February 2024, and it's signed by the parish president and council chairman and endorsed by all the council members. We have Ms. Price.
We have
here.
someone here to receive this?
Ms.
Yes,
Price
ma'am.
is here to accept.
All right. Clyde, you want to go with
Sure, I'd be happy.
Mr. Bergeron? President Bergeron? Uh-huh. Would you like to say a few words?
Sure.
If you could step up to the podium, please. Just introduce yourself for the record.
My name's Janet Price. I'm the marketing director for South Central Louisiana Human Services Authority, and I wanted to thank you for giving us a few minutes to do this. We've done this in all of our parishes, and actually today I think there's 4 council meetings that we're spread out among. I could give you a lot of statistics. We are top of the list on most addicted gamblers in the country is in Louisiana. We're 4th in the nation. We're seeing an increase because of sports betting. We're seeing an increase with children. 60 to 80% of high school students have said they've gambled at least once this year. We're proud of the programs we have. We offer a number of free programs. And I say this every year when I do this, but today when I walked out of the St. John Council meeting, a man stopped me and said in 2011, he was part of our program and he has not gambled since then. And he saw it on the agenda of their council meeting, and because he wasn't working, he went to the meeting. And I said, I wish I had known because I would have asked you to speak instead of me. But he left and he said, I have 99 problems and one of them is not gambling. So our programs do work. I've given some information to you about our agency. If you're from this area, you might be familiar with us. We do have a new look. We rebranded in the last year. And I'll leave you with one thought. Please look at our website. We have a lot of programs, but one of the things we're most proud of is we put our resource guide on our website. It tells about programs within the 7 parishes that we cover. And it's not just our services. If someone needs food banks, they can type in food banks, Terrebonne Parish, and it'll pop up on their phone and they can see what we have. So I know you have a lot of people that come to you for things. Please use that as a resource. If you go on there and see something that's not listed, let us know and we will add it to our list. We used to do a paper list, but that's outdated the minute it's printed. So we're really proud of that, and I think it's a good resource for everyone to use, and I encourage you to use that, and thank you for proclaiming it Problem Gambling Month. Thank you.
Thank you for coming out this evening, and thank you and your organization for all that you're doing. Any addiction's a tough life, and it's tough to overcome. And knowing that there's support out there for people that really helps them. Just stand by for just a moment. I have Mr. Carl Harding would like to address.
Yeah, I appreciate your agency because I think when sometimes when people look at the progress and how much revenue is being taken in, and really I was for gambling when it first was introduced, and because it was dealing with the schools, but then somehow or another, our schools seem to be shortchanged a little bit. The economy is going down, and it is a problem because people are much willing to try to roll the dice to try to get ahead of what's happening in their economy. So this program most definitely needed. I've had some challenges myself because I see a lot of things that everywhere you go, everyone wants to make a bet somewhere, but everyone just actually trying to get ahead sometime, and that's not the way to do it. And I'm glad that your agency exists, and hopefully this broadcast can go forth and help someone that's out there that in need. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harding. And again, thank you for all that you're doing.
All right, thank you. Have a good evening.
B, Ms. Cherie, our 4-H representative, is here to give us some updates. You can pull that mic down if you prefer.
All right, good evening. So this evening I'm going to give you a summary of the LSU Ag Center, not just 4-H. And I know that's a little different for some of you because usually when I stand in front of you, I talk about 4-H, which is very passionate, very dear to my heart. But the LSU Ag Center's parish offices serve as local extensions to the Louisiana State University Agricultural Center. Extension makes a difference in people's lives by addressing their needs through educational programs based on sound research. Each parish office typically offers a range of services and programs tailored to the specific needs and interests of the communities we serve. While the exact offerings may vary by location, here are the services provided by the Terrebonne LSU Ag Center office. Agricultural extension programs. These programs provide farmers, ranchers, and other agricultural producers with research-based information, resources, and assistance to improve productivity and sustainability in agricultural operations. The agents who work in this field are Dr. Renee Castro. She is our agricultural crop production agent, and she works with our sugarcane farmers in the parish. And we have also Miss Randy Toops, who is an assistant extension agent in animal production, and she mainly works with our cattle producers. 4-H Youth Development, which I'm most familiar with, is the program that empowers young people with skills, knowledge, and experiences in areas such as leadership, citizenship, and STEM education. Parish offices often coordinate 4-H clubs, camps, workshops, and competition. My coworker Reed and myself work with 32 school clubs, both private and public, throughout the year. We offer parish and regional and state camps for youth in our program. We still have traditional contests such as cookeries and livestock shows, but we've incorporated new contests and events such as shooting sports, with which we love to have Miss Michelle as a volunteer at. The youth who participate in Terrebonne 4-H through high school are more independent, service-minded, and leaders within the community. We also have nutrition and community health, which was previously called family and consumer science. This area focuses on providing education and resources related to nutrition, health, food safety, and other aspects of family well-being. We have 3 agents who work the Terrebonne Parish area, Ms. Becky Gautreau, Ms. Christy Monier, and Ms. Evelyn Washington, our nutrition educator. They offer workshops, classes, and publications on different nutrition topics. Horticulture and gardening, Mr. Barton Joffrion is our extension agent who provides information and assistance to home gardeners, landscapers, and horticulture enthusiasts on topics such as plant selection, pest management, soil health, and gardening best practices. And I'm sure many of you have visited with Mr. Barton about some type of issue with your lawn. Natural Resource Management, Ms. Haley Gamble has been with our office for about a little over a year now. She conducts programs and services related to conservation, environmental stewardship, wildlife management, and sustainable natural resource utilization. She offers guidance on topics such as wildlife habitat improvement, wetlands conservation, and water quality. She also works closely with our local commercial fishermen. All agents who represent the Terrebonne LSU Ag Center Parish Office collaborates with community organizations, stakeholders to address issues related to community and economic development, including leadership development, strategic planning, and small business assistance. In closing, Extension's mission is to make a difference in the lives of Louisiana citizens by conducting educational programs designed to meet their needs. These educational programs are based on sound research, some of which conducted by the Louisiana Agricultural Experiment Stations are partnered with the LSU Ag Center. We're here to serve the people of Terrebonne Parish. Each of you should have received our parish profile summary and another handout that the LSU Ag Center provided. We're here for you. Our contact information is on that page. If you need anything, if you see a need in the community that we can help with, please reach out to us. Thanks.
You know, Ms. Cherie, I've been using the Ag Center for years when it comes to dirt. And I encourage a lot of people, you know, we had a situation where we couldn't get anything to grow other than grass in our yard. And of course, we sent a sample in, they told us what to do. And now we're able to do that. And a lot of people don't think of that when they're thinking of gardening and landscaping and those such things. So I want to encourage the public, you know, for all the things that she was talking about, this is a service provided to you. Take advantage of it because they can really help you figure out just what's happening or what you need to do or any of all of the above things that she's talking about. If you, she mentioned 4-H. If you have children, encourage them to get involved in 4-H. They're always, you know, I hear complaints all the time, and we all do. Oh, there's nothing for kids to do in Terrebonne Parish. Well, there you go. Get involved in 4-H, and you're going to be able to keep them busy and not running the streets. So again, thank you for coming and doing the presentation for us, and hopefully it'll generate some traffic through that building, through that office.
Thank you.
All right. Next, item C, Mr. Ben Marlborough with GIS Engineering is here to present an updated status on some engineering projects. Ben, you want the clicker?
If you have one, that would be great.
You can go to Ms. Tammy while you're doing that. I just want to address the council. Over the next few weeks, for the sake of our new members and for the sake of the public to hear some of these updates, I've invited several engineering firms to come through and share, you know, what they do for the parish, what projects they're doing for the parish. We're starting with GIS in the next meetings. Next meeting, I invited All South, and then we're going to go down with T. Baker and so on and so forth as an opportunity for the public to hear what's happening, and as an introduction for our new members who have just come on board this year so that they can have a better understanding, just like the rest of us, on what's going on, because sometimes it can be grief for some people because I work in the field, so I see a lot of that stuff, but sometimes they don't have that luxury. So, Mr. Marlborough, thank you for coming, and let's hear what you got for us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. I appreciate the opportunity to come and give you all an update. As he said, my name's Ben Marlborough. I'm with GIS Engineering, 197 Elysian Drive, Houma, Louisiana. Mr. Chairman asked me to come give an update, as he just said. I do apologize to the administration. You had to sit through this yesterday, so bear with me. A lot of this will look familiar. But if anybody has any questions as I go through this, the slides I'm going to go through are current ongoing projects that we have with Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government. And first, I'd like to say that it is an honor and a privilege to have the opportunity to work for the parish Our coastal and infrastructure engineering group is knocking on 90 men and women strong, and a majority of those folks live in and around Terrebonne Parish. So with that, I'll get into the first project to highlight that's ongoing is the Bayou Terrebonne Pump Station. This is actually a contract that is with the Terrebonne Levee District with funds that were given from Terrebonne Parish to the Levee District in conjunction with some of the work that is being done to elevate the existing Bayou Terrebonne sector gate. This is a 500 CFS pump station that's being proposed immediately adjacent and connected to the sector gate in Bayou Terrebonne. As you see, the construction cost estimate there is $14.7 million. We're in final design. There is some funding secured through the statewide flood control program, and any additional monies outside of the $5 million allocated is funding that's yet to be determined. So that project is wrapping up final design, so we'll be ready to start talking about how we want to let this contract out if that is the desire of the parish. The second project is kind of tied to the previous. This is the Bayou Terrebonne Miter Gate project. This is on the south side of the Intracoastal in Bayou Terrebonne, adjacent to the Twin Span. This is a miter gate that's being proposed. This was some funding that the parish received through the 2023 capital outlay bill. It survived it appears that it's survived the scalpings that the capital outlay bill has undergone since its enactment. So currently we are awaiting approval of the contract. The contract that we submitted to the parish has been submitted to facility planning, and it's under review. So no work has started on that project. Working in conjunction with the previous two projects is a similar project, the Company Canal Miter Gate. This is a project that's located in Company Canal in Berg, just on the east side of Bayou Terrebonne. This would allow for the disconnection of disconnection of Bayou Terrebonne to the Intercoastal via Company Canal. Similar, this was a capital outlay appropriation that was made this last regular session. Contract has been submitted to the parish and then to facility planning for review, and we are just awaiting facility planning and controls review of that current contract. The next project is the Bayou Cane Pump Station project. There's actually two components of this. The next slide will wrap up the other portion. The pump station is under construction now. It's a designed 400 cubic feet per second pump station, but the initial construction is only 200 CFS. That project is underway. This is just adjacent to Savannah Road 311, and the property, that big orange area is the property that was donated by Shell to the parish and is going to be utilized as a reservoir for stormwater. In the event of major rainfall events, water can then be pumped into this reservoir and held until conditions normalize and gravity will let the water out of the reservoir and back into the normal drainage system. The estimated completion date is June of this year, and that is funded by Terrebonne Parish. The other phase of that project is the Whiskey Bayou berm and water control structures. This, going back to the previous drawing, a majority of the berms around the perimeter of the reservoir area are not constructed. They're not existing. So that second phase of that project is to construct those berms. And also along Savannah Road, there's some low points that hold water. So we've designed basically some catch basins with a sump system that's going to catch that water, collect it, and pump it over the berm into the reservoir. Yes, sir.
On Savannah Road, 'cause there has been a problem in the past that, those people that live in that area, it seems to be a problem to get from Martin Luther King all the way to about 182. And it's been a problem. And sometimes the water get on one side, and it's difficult for the water to subside after, the rain is gone. So how high would that be? And what would be the intent or how would we be able to not have that water set on Savannah Road for so long? Because we actually I think we had to rent about 2 different pumps on 2
Yes,
different
sir.
occasions.
Yeah, and they're there now. If you look on this map here, the orange dots along Savannah Road are the collection points or the catch basins that's going to drain to a pump that's going to collect that water and pump it it's going to basically mimic what the pumps that are out there doing now. So along the road, there'll be catch basins alongside the road that'll gather the water, transmit it to the sump, and then pump it over the reservoir, over the levee, or the berm. Sorry, I can't call it a levee. It's a berm, into the reservoir to mitigate that exact issue that you're talking about. Okay, so the next one is a project that's been probably presented on several times. We've been working on this for quite some time. This is the Bayou LaCarte pump station. And before I go any further, I'd like to recognize some of the staff that I brought with me. Manny Merlot is in our business development group. Kevin Kaiser is one of our senior engineers, and Mr. Bill Blanchard is one of our senior project managers. Full disclosure, I'm still somewhat in the honeymoon phase at GIS Engineering, so I made sure I brought some backup in case there were any real technical questions relating to a lot of these projects. They have been much more heavily involved. Specifically on this project, Kevin's been one of the main point of contacts as this project has traversed through time. It's been kind of a complicated issue, but just in summary, this is a pump station that's designed to address some of the flooding issues from St. Charles along Tunnel Boulevard and in that Barataria area to collect the water with subsurface drainage, route it to a pump station near, I don't know if I have it cited. Yeah, there you go. Just on the east side of Coastal Electric, between Coastal Electric and Motion Industries. This drawing actually depicts the 9 different alternative locations that have been analyzed and looked at for siting this pump station. And due to many complexities, it's been difficult in finding a location for this pump station. I believe we found a formidable location in talking to the administration yesterday. We may look at exploring one of the options that had been looked at previous. But as it stands now, the preferred location is number 9, which is really hard to see in this drawing, but it's just on the I don't know how to get this pointer to work.
It's like no show on the TV.
Yeah. It's on the access road, in the curve of the access road, near the curve of the access road between Coastal Electric and Motion Industries. And the status of that is we're working with the parish's attorney to try to negotiate some land acquisition to place that pump in that back corner of Motion Industries. The next project is Industrial Boulevard Pump Station. This is a pump station that's designed to complement, if you will, the existing Industrial Boulevard Pump Station, but ultimately add additional capacity to it. This is obviously along Industrial Boulevard, adjacent to Thomasy, in the vicinity of Chabert Hospital. We're in the preliminary design phase. There is some statewide flood control funding allocated for this. The drawing is not extraordinarily clear. The engineering drawing, I apologize, we didn't have a pretty image for this one, but it'll be just to the top side of the existing pump station in that aerial, and connect to the discharge channel, the discharge canal, leaving the existing station in operation so long as it makes sense and is economically feasible. This is a project that the parish received some capital outlay funding for. This is originally being called a 6,000 CFS pump station at Bayou Grand Caillou, adjacent to the Bayou Grand Caillou floodgate. Obviously, you see there's a $90 million construction cost estimate with that. So we have a long way to go, but we are currently in the study and report phase for this project. Next project is the Hollywood Road Extension Bridge. This is at the termination of the termination of the existing Hollywood Road at Bayou Black. Construction is estimated to be complete in just a couple months. There shows the construction cost, $3.6 million, and the funding breakdown of restore money, as well as Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government's funding of nearly $700,000 for this. I know there's been some issues with the construction staging and closing of the road, but I think we've worked through most of those, and I think the project is far enough along where hopefully those issues won't arise again.
As early as this afternoon at 4:30, you know, Joe had a meeting out there with him, and he called me. Everything went well.
Good.
So I think we've got it solved.
Yep, that's
Thank you.
good. Let's hope it stays that way. This is a big one. This is the Houma Power Generation Station, the damage assessment and temporary power support. So our role in this to date has really been assisting in the damage assessments of the power plant, to provide information to the parish and their FEMA consultants or their recovery consultants to provide information and applications to FEMA, as well as the insurance company, to ultimately try to land on a replacement of this power generation station. As far as we can tell, things are looking good for the obligation of the funds for the replacement. I don't really want to talk out of line, Candace. I see you kind of nodding your head. I don't know if that means to be quiet or that's good. Things are looking up and up. This is the Ashland South treatment plant. There was some levee damage as a result of Hurricane Ida, and we are working to repair the pond levee. You see that project is estimated to be completed in the next few months, and that was some FEMA, post-Ida FEMA money that funded that project. The Valhalla Extension Project, this is a project that aims to extend Valhalla from existing termination at Savan Road all the way paralleling 311 and going under Highway 90 and joining back to 311 across from Fletcher Technical Community College and Rouse's Boulevard. We are in the stakeholder engagement phase of this. We got some preliminary alignments laid out. We've been meeting with landowners to get their comments, feedback, and on the different alignments. And we're working through some of those and working with the attorney that was procured by the parish to start working on those land agreements for the different alignments. And the work to date has been funded through capital outlay. This project, Bayou Terrebonne dredging project, has been going on for quite some time. It gained some traction, and one of the phases is complete. The drawing that you see is really kind of a lot on a little page, but that's from the parish line down to the intercoastal, and it's broken up into phases. One of the phases has been complete, and this project is ongoing. The geotechnical engineering firm, Geoengineers, that was hired by the parish, is in the process of getting geotechnical boring data in the different reaches. They're working with landowners to get access agreements to access Bayou Terrebonne in the different stretches to begin taking borings and understanding the soil conditions and what types of slopes and cross sections are going to be tolerable throughout the different stretches. That's all I really have to report on that, unless anybody has any questions. I see Jason Grant, Mr. President,
Harding.
touching his microphone.
This particular project is actually two phases to it, and evidently you got the dredging portion of it. And I have to ask the question because I received a phone call not too long ago in reference to the first project was to do the cleanup of it. So I'm concerned because I got a report that some trees are still there. So in order for you to do your job, the first job had to be completed. And that's my concern actually to bring to you. And if you see any problems that's there, hopefully we can actually kind of cut through the red tape. I know the biggest problem there is trying to find areas for you guys to get to there and actually do the dredging. So I'm aware of that. It runs all through, but it affects a lot of people coming from the parish line, coming back down here. And then there has been a lot of attention to this, and hopefully that this project, along with the shell thing that we're going through, that we can actually help that out, which also ties into everything going back to the Bayou La Carpe also. Thank you.
Mr. Parish President Bergeron.
Thanks. I just wanted to, and we met on this yesterday, and it's really started some great conversations. So to make sure we're on the same page, the conversation we're having is about dredging Bayou Terrebonne to a -6 foot. So basically around the area of the hospital, that's what it is now. Like you said, the phase 1 part has been completed. There was a project to clean up Bayou Terrebonne, but that was let's get this shed piece out or that, whatever it is, dealing with the Bayou post Ida, but really didn't address down trees and all the other things that we know need to get done. Noah and I actually had a meeting this morning with our contractor to kind of do a pass through to figure out, and we're actually talking about getting to by ourselves, just to go down and see, there's some choke points, there's trees that are down, there's probably everything you could imagine. So I do believe that we have to look at that. That probably needs to happen along with the geotech stuff that they're doing and the prior to the dredging. So that's some conversations we're actively having, and I appreciate them presenting this project to us because we've heard about so many different types of dredging projects. We wanted to definitely make sure that everybody's on the same page.
Thank you, sir. Seeing no more questions, thank you, Mr. Malbrough, for coming out.
I just have 2 more slides. I'll flip through
Okay,
them.
that's fine.
I take that as a nice way of wrap it up.
No.
This is really simple. The last 2 are this is a semi-annual groundwater monitoring that we do for the solid waste department to assist in their reporting requirements at the landfill. And then the last one is a Bayou Terrebonne pump station. This is really a feasibility analysis. This picture is somewhat misleading. We put an image together just to kind of represent the concept, but we are currently exploring the feasibility of a pump station in Bayou Terrebonne on the north side of the intercoastal, and what the impacts to the drainage issues within the upper reaches of Bayou Terrebonne that pump station has or may not have for for the localized drainage. So, and that is all that I have.
Well, again, I thank you for coming. Again, the reason why I asked for this is so that we can get some updates and our new members can have a better understanding of what's happening in the parish and how it affects some of their districts. Mr. Harding has another.
Not necessarily addressed to you. I would like to commend Council Chairman for doing this. There have been a number of council people up here that request the presence of people that do business in Terrebonne Parish. And these projects are not inexpensive, but they want to see the people that's doing the work. And so as we go passing by, I hope my colleagues, just as well as myself, appreciate this presentation so we can be more aware, more transparent, and some of the folk that are out there that have concerns, their answers could be actually at least addressed.
Absolutely. Yeah, and like I said in the beginning, we certainly appreciate the opportunity to work for you. Bless you.
Bless you.
If anybody has any other follow-up questions or needs any additional information, there's my email address up there, and that is my cell phone number, so please do not hesitate to call. I'll certainly make some time, anytime, to address any questions or concerns or provide any additional information you all may want or need. So thank you all again, and have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. Marlborough. I have a motion to go to 6:30 public hearings by Mr. Harding. Second by Mr. Wazan. Members, vote your machines. Eight yeas, 0 nays, motion carries. All right, item A, an ordinance to amend the 2024 adopted operating budget, 5-year capital outlay budget, and budgeted positions of the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for the following items and to provide for related matters. Number 1, Bayou Country Sports Park, $5,000. Bayou LaCorp Drainage, $4,425,000. Houma Downtown Development, $143,362. Houma Downtown Development, $14,684. Animal Shelter, $1,000. Restoring Louisiana Marshes, $1 million. General Fund Accounting, $70,052. Transfer Grant Rider Grade 206. And first call public. Second call public. Third and final call public. Have a motion to close public hearing by Mr. Harding. Second, Mr. Wazan. Members, vote your machines. Mr. Babin.
Yeah, before we vote, the public hears all of these big numbers. We have one on here for 4.4 million, another one for $1 million. Not a penny of this came from Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government. There were donations, from 2 of them from the state, 1 of them from NOAA, and not the NOAA sitting right there. And the transfer of the money is from one department to another. It's just an accounting procedure. So this is $6 million, and it sounds like a lot of money, but it's not coming. We are the beneficiary here, put it that way. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Babin. Yeah, with every time we move money, we got to report it and show it. So that's what these are all about. So 8 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries. Item B is an ordinance authorizing the parish. Oh, I'm sorry. Thought we went through that one. So we have a motion to adopt by Mr. Babin, second by Mr. Harding. Members, vote your machines. 8 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries. Item B is an ordinance authorizing the parish president to execute a right of use agreement between Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government and Derek and Heather Chalette for the property that bears a municipal address of 110 Beth Ann Avenue, Montague, Louisiana, 70377. First call public. Second call public. Third and final call public. Motion to close, Mr. Trosclair. Second, Mr. Harding. Members, vote your machines. 8 yeas, 0 nays. Motion to adopt, Mr. Trosclair. Second, Mr. Harding. Members, vote your machines. 8 yeas, 0 nays. Motion is adopted. We have a motion to go back into regular order by Mr. Harding. Second by Mr. Trosclair. Members, vote your machines. Seven yeas, 0 nays. We're back into regular order. Item 2, public wishing to address the council. A, Mr. Tommy Jenkins wishes to address the council relative to CDBG funding and program guidelines with potential violations. Mr. Jenkins couldn't be here tonight, so that item is no longer needed. Item B, as per speaker cards in accordance with Section 2-07E of the Terrebonne Parish Home Rule Charter, the public will be heard and can speak for 3 minutes on any matter related to parish government without discussion or questions and answers on non-agenda items. We have a speaker card from Mr. Johnny Smith. Mr. Johnny, if you want to come up, state your name and address for the record. As always, sir.
I'm Johnny Smith. My address is 1610 Cardinal Drive, Terrebonne, Louisiana. I also have my other colleagues here from Post 272, Montague, Louisiana. You want to come on up? The officers, we've been working on our project of Veterans Disaster Corps. We have brick and mortar now with Post 272. You can introduce us as who these officers are.
Good evening. My name is Gus Marie. I'm the commander of Russell Redmond Post 272 in Montague. And these are part of my executive officers. We have John Smith, Mike Sears, and Julius Lagarde. He's our judge
I'm
advocate.
the judge advocate of Post 272, and I'm going to do this shortly. These officers here, we are reconstructing Post 272, and we're introducing Veterans Disaster Corps as a big program, of which I think 3 of you left. 1. It's only 2? Babin?
Well, actually,
No, it's 3.
yeah,
Who else?
don't get
Yeah,
Brian.
Brian was here. Yeah, they still here. But anyway, we introduced it a year ago, back in November of 2022. No, and we had to redevelop this area to have brick and mortar where we would meet. We were going to do it at the library, but now we're doing it at Post 272. We're all Legionnaires now. What we're trying to do is get support for that post in order to save it from closing. Now, I don't know how much you can help us, but we're offering a manpower organization, which VDC is, which we'll be trying to express ourselves later on in this year before hurricane season. And that would be our development of protecting the area with manpower. Now, Michael Sears, he has things to say. You don't want to say nothing else?
No.
You don't want to say anything?
You covered everything.
Did I cover it all?
Pretty much.
Okay, now I know Mr. Babin, he knows about it. I know Mr. Carly knows about it. I know he knows about it. All the new members, we are new. We need money.
Basically, well,
But the man, the new man is not here. That's who we really wanted to have a meeting with.
that's the new man right
Oh,
there.
down here. Where? Mr. Badron, is that your seat up there? You sit down here?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're right.
All right. See what I'm saying?
Now, what we're trying to do initially is we're trying to get the community.
Mr. Gus, can you move closer to the mic? There you go.
We're trying to get the community down in our area back together again to be involved with any and all activities that we can produce for them as a sideline. But during the hurricane season or disaster time, we'll be there too. Go ahead.
I'm really,
He's still scared.
no, I didn't know this was the man, right? Really, because I've been missing for a while. I seen his picture everywhere, but yeah, Mr. Babin, I didn't remember his face. That's all. You know, I'm old, Will. But anyway, it's my pleasure.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Major objective is Michael Sears. I'm the vice commander at Post 272, and what we're trying to do, we're the last post standing.
I didn't say that.
So we're trying to bring the community, the surrounding communities all together and be a family-oriented posts. I'm gonna give dances and dinners and you know,
Different things.
and activities for the kids, you know, and get the community involved in the posts. So,
But what our biggest project is Veterans Disaster Corps. We're moving on, Mr. Babin. Mr. Carly, you're doing just like you told us to do. We're almost there. Now, all we need to do is have the support from the council to help us out in Montague. We're gonna be doing a recruitment of younger people from Nichols University. We went there today. We're all senior citizens. So, not all of us except for two.
All right, Mr. Mr. Johnny, we got a couple lights. First, we're gonna let Parish President Bergeron speak.
Oh, yeah, y'all throw me off with this.
okay.
I just want to say, first off, to thank these gentlemen for their service, and all veterans, of course, and first responders for their service. It's important for us to take care of our veterans. We're working on American Legion Hall in Houma here to give a place for all veterans organizations to kind of come together. But we definitely want to look at what you guys are trying to do and see what opportunities we can do to help you. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Harding?
Yeah, in defense of Mr. Smith is actually from Thibodeau, so he don't do Terrebonne politics. He just actually
Right, that's why I didn't know that was.
I think it's a good thing in the circumstances in reference to liabilities, and we want to be aware of that. There's a lady in the audience that worked with organizations such as yours, Ms. Smith.
Yes, I know Ms. Smith.
She's there. She'll be able to help you. And I think being a veteran and a citizen of this parish, you know what I mean? I think we get a lot of outside folk. And I've always been an advocate of some of the people, even though we have some resiliency about ourselves, the efforts that you guys are volunteering. I've been trying to get people to volunteer like that for a number of years, and I appreciate you guys and your efforts. Thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Carly.
Mr. Babin?
Yeah, Johnny, you come a long way from that original meeting that we had in the library, and it takes a lot of work to get it just to this particular point. But to make sure everybody understands, when Johnny and his group wanted to first form this, they want to form a group of veterans that when we have an emergency, they can call on 15 to 100 people, hopefully, that can get out there and help people who have had a part of a natural disaster like a hurricane. So, it's a wonderful idea, and that idea is getting close to fruition, and I like that, gentlemen. So, whatever we can do, and like Parish President Bergeron said, you know, this government will take a look at what we can do, and then we'll move forward from there. But we're not going to let it go by the wayside. And again, as Jason said, thank y'all for your service.
Yeah. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Babin.
y'all for understanding.
And thank y'all for having us again. We'll
Thanks again, gentlemen.
head on out.
Like I always say, if you don't ask for nothing, you walk out with nothing, so.
Absolutely.
Item 3, committee reports. Community Development and Planning Committee. Who's reading that one? Mr. Trosclair?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I make a motion that the council accept and ratify the minutes of the Community Development Planning Committee held on February 26, 2024, and I have no public hearings.
So I have a motion by Mr. Trosclair, seconded by Mr. Harding. Members, please vote your machines. Eight yeas, 0 nays, motion carries. Item B, Budget and Finance Committee, Mr. Brian Pledger.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I make a motion that the council accept and ratify the minutes of the Budget and Finance Committee held on February 26, 2024, and I have 7 public hearings. Number 1, introduce an ordinance to adopt and enact a new section 2-452 Hancock Whitney Bank Building and Parking in Article 14 of Chapter 2 of the Terrebonne Parish Code of Ordinances, to rename Article 14, to expand the article to include the Hancock Whitney Bank Building, and to renumber and amend the remaining section in the said article to operate the available commercial lease space, and call a public hearing Wednesday, March 13th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. Number 2, introduce an ordinance to authorize the parish president to execute a cooperative endeavor agreement on behalf of the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government, TPCG, between TPCG and John Kennedy in his official capacity as United States Senator to lease space in the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government-owned building at 7910 Main Street, Houma, Louisiana, 70360, and call a public hearing Wednesday, March 13th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. Item number 3, introduce an ordinance to authorize the parish president to execute a cooperative endeavor agreement on behalf of the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government, TPCG, between TPCG and Steve Scalise in his official capacity as United States Congressman to lease space in the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government-owned building at 7910 Main Street, Houma, Louisiana, 70360, and call a public hearing Wednesday, March 13th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. Number 4, introduce an ordinance to authorize the parish president to execute a cooperative endeavor agreement on behalf of the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government, TPCG, between TPCG, Mike Feasey, in his official capacity as Louisiana State Senator to lease space in the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government-owned building at 7910 Main Street, Houma, Louisiana, 70360, and call a public hearing Wednesday, March 13th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. Item number 5, introduce an ordinance to authorize the parish president to execute a cooperative endeavor agreement on behalf of the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government, TPCG, between TPCG and TITA to lease space in the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government building at 7910 Main Street, Houma, Louisiana, 70360, and call a public hearing Wednesday, March 13th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. Item number 6, introduce an ordinance to authorize the parish president to execute a cooperative endeavor agreement on behalf of Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government, TPCG, between TPCG and Fletcher Technical Community College to lease space in the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government-owned building at 7910 Main Street, Houma, Louisiana, 70360, and call a public hearing Wednesday, March 13th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. Number 7, introduce an ordinance to amend the 2024 adopted operating budget and the 5-year capital outlay budget of the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for the following items and to provide for related matters. Number 1, Bayou Country Sports Park, $1 million. Number 2, Houma Fire Department, $200. And number 3, Houma Police Department opioid abatement, $354,244, and call a public hearing on said matter on Wednesday, March 13th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m.
We have a motion by Mr. Pledger, a second by Mr. Babin. Was it Babin? Members vote your machines. 8 yeas, 0 nays. Motion carries. Item C, Policy, Procedure, and Legal Committee, Mr. Clyde Hamner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I make a motion that the council. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I make a motion that the council accept and ratify the minutes of the Policy, Procedure, and Legal Committee held on February 26, 2024, and I have one public hearing. Introduce an ordinance to amend Section 2-109C of the Terrebonne Parish Code of Ordinances to increase administration's contracting and purchasing threshold from $30,000 to $60,000 and call a public hearing on Wednesday, March 13th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m.
Second. We have a motion by Mr. Hamner, a second by Mr. Babin. Members vote your machines. 8 yeas, 0 nays. Motion carries. Item 4, streetlights. As per Mr. Babin, second Mr. Pledger. Members vote your machines. 8 yeas, 0 nays. Motion carries. Item 5, appointments to various boards, committees, and commissions. A, Recreation District Number 6 Board, 1 expired term and 1 vacancy due to a resignation. Ms. Sherry Neal expresses her interest in being reappointed. We have a motion by Mr. Trusclair to open, close, and appoint Ms. Neal and hold the second over. Second by Mr. Harding. Members vote your machines. 8 8 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries. Item B, Fire Protection District Number 4 Board, one expired term. Ms. Pamela P. Carlos expresses her interest in being reappointed. We have a motion by Mr. Babin to open, close, and appoint Ms. Carlos. Second by Mr. Pledger. Members, vote your machines. 8 yeas, 0 nays. Motion carries. Item C, Houma Terrebonne Public Trust Finance, one expired term. Mr. Bobby L. Howard expresses his interest in being reappointed. We have a motion by Mr. Carl Harding to open, close, and appoint Mr. Howard, seconded by Mr. Pledger. Members, vote your machines. 8 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries. Item D, Bayou Cane Fire Protection District Board, one expired term. Mr. Stephen E. Fulmer submits application and resume for consideration. Mr. Matthew J. Ford submits application and resume for consideration. I have a motion by Mr. Babin to open, close, and vote, second by Mr. Harding. Ms. Smith, can we get a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Amity,
Fulmer?
Mr. Champagne,
Palmer?
Mr. Hamner,
Palmer?
Mr. Babin,
Fulmer.
Ms. Chauvin, absent. Mr. Trusclair, Mr. Pledger,
Palmer.
Mr. Harding,
Ford.
Mr. Voisin.
Palmer.
7 for Mr. Farmer and 1 for Mr. Ford.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Item E, Recreation District Number 11 Board, one vacancy due to a resignation. Mr. Lionel Lewis submits application and resume for consideration.
Motion to open, close, and appoint Mr. Lewis.
We have a motion to open, close, and appoint Mr. Lewis by Mr. Pledger, seconded by Mr. Harding. Members, please vote your machines. 8 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries. Item 6, staff reports. Item A is Parish President Jason W. Bergeron requests ratification of his recommendation of Mr. Shane Thibodeau to the Terrebonne Economic Development Authority Board.
Motion to accept Mr. Shane Thibodeau as the appointment.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Babin to ratify the appointment of Mr. Shane Thibodeau, seconded by Mr. Hamner. Members, vote your machines. 8 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries. Item B, Parish President Jason W. Bergeron requests ratification of his recommendation of Mr. Merlin Lerat to the Coastal Zone Management Board.
Motion to accept Parish President's ratification of Mr. ratification of Mr. Merlin Lerat.
Second.
So we have a motion by Mr. Babin to ratify Mr. Merlin Lerat to the Coastal Zone Management Board, seconded by Mr. Clyde Hamner. Members, vote your machines. 8 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries. Congratulations to all the people that were appointed tonight. Item 7, vacancies to various boards, committees, and commissions. A, Recreation District Number 3A Board, one vacancy. Recreation District Number 8 Board, one expired term. Recreation District Number 8 Board, 2 expired terms. I'm sorry, Fire Protection District Board, got that incorrect. 2 expired terms. Fire Protection District Number 10 Board, 1 expired term. Bayou Cane Fire Protection District Board, 1 expired term. Coteau Fire Protection District Board, 1 expired term. Terrebonne Parish Tree Board, 1 expired term, and 1 vacancy due to a resignation. Announcements, Mr. Parish President, you have any announcements, sir?
Miss Kim Chauvin asked me to announce the Spring Fest Easter egg hunt is March 9th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Doogie's Deli in Chauvin. Tons of arts and crafts for the kids, thousands of eggs for them to find, games and prizes, music, food, and fun. And the Easter Bunny will be making an appearance. There you go.
Thank you, sir. Any council members have announcements? Mr. Babin.
Yes, I think we have a big event this weekend in downtown Houma, the Boucherie, that I think everybody needs to attend. It's a wonderful function, and the proceeds benefit Terrebonne Parish. So thank the group that puts that on, and I see a few of them here.
Mr. Noah Lerat.
I heard this could be like certain councilmen cooking some white beans that y'all might want to come out and try and see if they're any good. So I'll see y'all there.
Thank you, Mr. Lerat. Mr. Pledger.
I just hope that councilman don't wear suspenders.
And, you know, if you're looking for something to do over the weekend with this festival, I'm sure they're probably still accepting volunteers. There's no better part than to go out and be a volunteer for one of these festivals. Any one of them that happens, you know, it's always a good experience, and you get a little insight on everything that's going on, and you get to be a part of a great experience. Mr. Pledger?
I also, thanks, Mr. Chair. I also want to add to the viewing public and also those that are here in attendance too as well. Terrebonne Parish is moving in a different direction, and we're moving for the better. And if you take a look at some of the festivals that are happening right now and that have happened here in Terrebonne Parish, you see a lot of people down there. So I'm encouraging, whether you're from the Bayou, you're from the east side of town, west side of town, northern part of the parish, I encourage you to get out there, because I just stopped by one day at a festival and didn't really know what was going on, and I really had a good time. So I encourage everybody to get out there, have fun, and just be a part of Terrebonne Parish. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Pledger. Mr. Parish President?
Since we're into self-promotion, I couldn't help myself, but March 9th is going to be a day of raising funds for cancer. The morning or during the day is going to be Roof for a Reason, and then that night we have the lip sync battle competition at the downtown Mardi Gras Hall. So just want to share, if we're talking about events and getting out in the community, that's some more things going on March 9th. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. That's it. Motion adjourned, Mr. Babin. Second, Mr. Pledger. Members, vote your machines. We are adjourned, everybody. Have a good evening.